Welcome to the Cranky Cameraman vlog. My name's David. I'm an independent director of photography. I have been shooting video for business and broadcast as a full-time career now for 25 years. The first 23 years I was based in Southern California, and for the last 2.5 I have been based out of South Texas, San Antonio. And thanks for all the views. My quiet little YouTube channel has had some steady growth the last couple of months. There's some other filmmakers and DPs that started vlogging, and a few of them give me credit for inspiring them to start. That's super cool. I had an incredible career trajectory and nice, comfortable lifestyle in Southern California. Most people were shocked to hear me move. I've touched on it, different bits and pieces in previous vlogs, but overall, I was super stressed, overworked. The money was phenomenal, but I just needed to change a pace, and moving to Texas, it was an opportunity to get closer to my immediate family and also throttle back on just the volume of work that I was doing. The other thing is the content I vlog here, it seems like I mostly shoot interviews and B-roll, like either corporate or broadcast news. And while that is true, I do a ton of it. In addition to that, I bet I've shot 500 to 1,000 or more 30-second TV spots. Just that was in the past, and I wasn't vlogging back then. And also a lot of that is, it's like pre-release product, or it's celebrity talent, professional athletes. They're all things where the crew is buttoned down on a non-disclosure. It's not stuff I can talk about or showcase on my little channel. And my inspiration to start doing this channel was more the business advice side of surviving as a freelancer. I didn't want to be another like wannabe influencer, kind of bragging and creating this aspirational channel to show you all this super exciting stuff I'm working on. Really, the reality is it's a trade, and there's a lot of manual labor and grueling long hours, but you can make a whole lot of money doing this, equal to or more than a corporate career with a fixed salary, working your 40, 60-hour weeks. And it goes in waves. You know, I get crushed for 6 or 8 weeks, and then I'll have a month or more off to pursue other interests that aren't just grinding it out to earn a paycheck. And really, that's kind of the thing I wanted to share with this channel. So thank you all for the feedback, and super excited to see the new channels popping up, showing a little bit more of this freelance life. All right, on to the nuts and bolts of a typical shoot day. So I'm a big ground spreader fan on my tripods. I don't like mid-level spreaders. Here's a classic example of why. I get in a position where you get this forest of other stands, lights, C-stands, flags, cutters, teleprompters, overhead frames. It all nests around camera. You know, you land the shot, you frame it, you mark it, you block it, and then the other departments will come in and add all their kit. And when you have a mid-level spreader, now if I have to float up a couple inches or down on my sticks, with a mid-level, the length of the footprint of the sticks changes, expands and contracts, which can create a domino effect with all of the other kit on set. Now the flags and cutters and key light have to float away or reposition, or you got to re-index the layering of stands. And shooting news at press conferences, or just when you're in the gaggle with the other media, you get up on a riser. With a ground level spreader, it's a little bit easier to claim your territory. So you have room to work, and you can stage your set bag right on top of the spreader, where nowadays most media are using the mid-level, and everyone's legs get all nested and intertangled. So now if you need to pull out early, you run the risk of bumping someone else's camera. And while you can nest more people on the riser with a mid-level spreader, the ground level tends to create more distance between you and the next photog. All right, I'm going to reuse a shot from earlier. Nick's getting the teleprompter set up. So this was a week plus of production in Irvine, California, corporate content with executives, video playback for a conference, and the record specs on this was all quick turn. Shoot it, and it gets edited same day. One misconception is everyone thinks they need to shoot the highest and best record spec and resolution in camera. That's not necessarily edit friendly. So here we're shooting 1080, 50 megabit mode, HD 422. They're the smallest files you can record in the FX9 at 1080 that aren't proxy. Now for national television news content, I shoot the same 50 megabit because we need small transportable files that can upload to the station, contrasted with the typical corporate video shoot day where the clients want to shoot UHD, all I, highest bitrate, log C, with the lofty intention of doing a special color grade later. And I would say in more than half the cases, the color is not as good, I think, as had we just baked it in. 21 years ago, I lived just up the hill from here, and I shot a feature, and there was a scene that took place in a laundromat, and we filmed it right here. I actually pulled this trash can out and stood right in there, and I had a hi-hat on the countertop, and I think the shot was about like this. It was a full scene, but that's the only angle I remember vividly. It was a long time ago. I think we looked this way as well. Yeah, we definitely looked in this section. I remember all this. I think they were all blue back then, like this left wall. This rear wall was blue as well, but these are newer units. And my wife reminds me every time we drive by this place that I actually secured this location for the production. Got chatting with the owner. He lived in Dana Point. We're in Laguna Niguel right now. And the owner was getting older, retired, and was getting ready to sell the laundromat. Asked me if I was interested in buying it, and didn't pursue it. And man, I should have. This would have been a nice little business. There's no attendant on duty. He gave me the whole rundown. 7 days a week, he and his wife would trade off. Someone comes down, opens at 6 a.m. Someone else comes back at 10 p.m. and locks up. And first thing in the morning, they cycle all the change. So, you get quarters and all the machines from the day's customers. You just restock it in the change machine and take the cash out, take the cash to the bank. No credit cards, all cash business, no employees. And this is in a very mellow, safe part of Southern California. Man, woulda, shoulda, coulda. I wasn't smart enough, savvy enough back then. Yeah, I love this town. We may be back someday. I get the afternoon off, getting the van reorganized. About half my kit was a walk away at Wrap on Friday. It's Saturday today. We resume on Monday. But this morning I went up to LA and retrieved my camera package that's been up in LA since, let me think about this, really since 2019. Basically left this kit with an AC that lives up there in the city, and it's been primarily working documentaries and network news assignments with a cinematographer that I kind of came up under and apprenticed under. I first worked with him, I think I was like 20 years old, brand new to the business. And yeah, the gears kind of just cycled out now. They've moved on to, I think that unit's mostly shooting Sony cams, just like everyone else. So, got my Amira in a soft case, camera batteries, wide angle zoom. This 2 small bags are the audio kit, interview light kit, tripod. And I also had some C stands and sandbags and a couple of light stands, and I ended up giving those to the AC. I got enough of that stuff, and frankly I don't think I had room in my van to bring them back to Texas. Forgotten how nice these porta brace cases are. I haven't used it in a while. I may switch out and put an FX9 in there. So get Amira AC power supply, 7 cards. I think they're mostly 128s. The paint's worn off of most of them. There's a 256. So I don't recall what the capacities were. 2 card readers with cables, spare viewfinder cable, factory shoulder pad, plus a nice, I forget who makes this. These are nice if you got to do a lot of handheld on your shoulder. And then I just have a little bit of Velcro, so you basically unscrew this one, Velcro this one on in its place. Amira Canon the 30-105, one of my favorite compact zooms. It's a proper cinema lens with calibrated witness marks. Super sharp, sharper and less distortion than the servo zoom, the Canon 17-120. On-camera shotgun. I have the USB drive to put in there. I'm going to leave that door open so I remember. These were not the best purchase. I think I had 12 of these at one point, these 190 Comer or D&O lighting. The problem with these things is I think they exaggerated the capacity a bit, because Anton Bauer Hypercore 150 has much longer burn time than these 190s. The bigger risk with these is if you discharge them on, say, a monitor or an LED light, they don't have an internal cutoff, so they will discharge to the point where once they're completely depleted, they're junk. They won't recharge. So I've slowly killed off all of them. I think he said really only 3 of these are good out of 4, but they've all got diminished lifespan. The matching 15-47 wide angle zoom. And I have ATA cases for camera and lenses back in Texas, the ones that aren't here. Again, this was set up for like mobile documentary, news, promo, grab and go config. So the 2 small bags had a bunch of smaller gold mounts for powering lights and accessories, rechargeable AA's for audio, boom pole holder, boom pole, NPFs for smaller LED lights, NPF charger, shotgun mount, boom pole, some XLRs, 2 Oscar Tech lavaliers, and then 2 of the Rhodes, which are, I guess they work with the Sonys. I don't remember, it's been so long. They must if they're in here. So I got 2 backup Rode lavaliers in addition to 2 Oscar Tech. It doesn't say on here. Oh, and a Sony lav. Maybe there are no Oscars in here. That's the Sony lav that comes with the UTX transmitter. Plenty of windscreens. And then, that's funny, I had 2 of these at my house, and I didn't think I had any more Oscar Tech to Sony mics, so I threw them away. These things I think are like $60 a piece, but yeah, I just trashed 2 of them. Shoot, could have used them with these mics. And then I've got 2 of the UHF Sony units, transmit and receive. They're single channel receivers. And then I also have a boom pole or stick mic block transmitter. A grab and go interview light kit, a couple of Lowell stands, cables, power cords, power supplies, and then 2 of the, I don't know what you call this, like 6-inch by maybe, newer panel, 2 of those, and then 2 of these are the ones that you see me using all the time, that they all came with V-mount, and I swapped out the plates, and then just a newer on camera, and this runs on NPF, or, actually I saw the P-tap cable for that was in the camera case. Yeah, right here. I'll put this with the light. And then Sony VCT plate with the touch and go for the tripod. Tripod bag with a Sockler 20 plus. I actually bought these sticks off of another shooter that's retired. He's still around and actually here in Orange County. I think he's in his like mid 80s now. Found another case. That box. This is a clip-on Mauve cam. Get adapter rings for my red primes and the compact zooms. Side brows and eyebrow, and a couple of filters.
Everything's where we left it before the weekend.
New week, new crew. Got Oski helping me out on this one. Oski worked as my second cam op on the music video in the previous vlog. So he's standing in for Nick. Nick was booked up working for the mouse all week. So this was our first setup of the day in a conference room. Same format, 2 cameras set up for the executive. We couldn't figure out how to turn off the overhead lights initially. That's why we had the overhead set up. Then we found the switch, so we got rid of that rig. Just had the backlight. And here we are in roll mode. And yeah, this is the majority of the BTS I capture, because the only downtime I have to sneak off a few shots is when we have these long lock-off interview or presentation shots. But I assure you, I shoot a lot of other stuff that's far more interesting. It's just, this is the content that accumulates on my phone. Little advice for someone who might be a little newer in the business. Get in the habit, I get in these endless feedback circles in corporate shoots where land the camera, figure out what your shot is, Put a T on the floor to mark where your subject's going to be. Then rehearse it with just the camera. Make sure all your action's going to work out. Once everyone's good and signed off on the background, then you can start dressing the scene, moving stuff out of the background, putting art in there, bringing your lights in, set up your audio last. So many times I just want to like bang my head into the table on these corporate jobs where you've got someone running around in panic mode, drawing shades, moving furniture, and they're chasing their tail, moving things that ultimately are never going to be in the shot. And then like it gets other people confused, lights land in the wrong place. Like it's just a domino effect that you can avoid and stay ahead of schedule by figure out your shot with just the camera and then rehearse that thing, get your marks down. So after a week of working in this office, finding unique backgrounds for each presenter, we're kind of running out of options. So we landed here with this neon sign, added a blue wash on the wall, and what started as just a plain white wall ended up looking pretty great. And this was my last setup for my run in California. Once I'd been in town for a few days, word started to spread and I was getting offers to jump on other projects. Chris, my gaffer, wanted me to be a cam op on a YouTube series that he was lighting. I could have worked on that a bit, and then I had Haley, the producer, on the commercial that I shot has another TV spot, and she was trying to shuffle things around so I could potentially DP that thing, but they weren't quite ready to go. And then I got another offer, but I couldn't stay any longer because I'd already committed to a 2-day project in San Antonio. When wrapping out on a show, this is the process I prefer. I take all of my cases and I land them in rows by category. And then if the case is open, it means there's still outstanding items that have to go in it. And once a case is wrapped, just close it and stand it on end, just in case there's an adapter or some item that was missed. And I wait until every case is wrapped before I start stacking on the carts to roll out to the trucks. So my truck was jam-packed at the start of this project, and now going back to Texas, I get the addition of my LA camera kit that's got to fit on board. So we just stacked everything in the parking lot, and I spent a little time trying to figure out how to best Tetris things into the van. Oh, Southern California traffic. I'm about 10, maybe 15 minutes from the location. We're on my way home. I gotta get back to San Antonio. Basically gonna sleep one night at home, and then I'm right back to work, but fortunately it's local. I got a 2-day job. So for 17 and a half years, my exit to my house was this next one. It was about 15 minutes from the freeway. So I would have had like a 30-minute drive home. But instead, I've got 18 to 20 hours to go of drive time, which I'm going to split up. I'm probably going to end up spending 2 nights sleeping. I'm going to drive a few hours tonight until I get tired. And then I'll drive about 12 hours tomorrow, sleep, and just pick up the balance. And hopefully get in like late afternoon on, let's see, it would be Wednesday. And I have a 8 a.m. call time in San Antonio on Thursday and Friday. Good run in Southern California. I was here for how did that work out? I guess really only a little over a week. Feels like a week and a half. But with all the driving, I've been on the road. I've been on the road for a week and a half.